Welcome all in this channel. Today we're going to start chemical reaction and equation chapter from class 10 board CBSE. So here the first thing you need to understand is what is chemical reaction. So that thing you have to understand, what is chemical reaction. So the breaking and making of bonds between different atoms to produce new substance is called chemical reaction. The breaking and making of bonds between different atoms to produce new substances is called chemical reactions. It means two or more substances were mixed up and they will produce a new compound. So that is a chemical reaction. Let's talk about the types of changes. There are two types of changes. One is called physical change and another one is called chemical change. For example, the melting of ice is a physical change. The rusting of iron is a chemical change, and formation of curd is a chemical change. So physical change can be reversed, but chemical change cannot reversed. Okay, so once a new compound is formed, it will never go back to its initial form. So that is a chemical reaction. Now we have to discuss what is the difference between physical and chemical changes. So the physical change, it is a temporary change. The chemical change is a permanent change. No new substance is formed in the physical change, whereas a new substance is formed in chemical change. Now change can be reversed in physical, but change cannot be reversed in chemical change. Energy may or may not be released in physical change, but energy is released or absorbed during chemical change. Let's talk about chemical equation. So the representation of chemicals in the form of formula, reactant and product separated by a arrow mark is called chemical equation. So we can say it is a type of representation in the form of formula which contains reactant and product separated by arrow mark. So it can be word equation. For example, it is magnesium, it is a reactant, and oxygen, it is also a reactant. They are reacting with each other and they are producing magnesium oxide, which is a product. So they are separated by arrow. So the product, we have to write it on the right hand side and the reactants were written in the left hand side. Let's talk about chemical equation. So now we understand word equation. Let's talk about chemical equation. Here we are using chemical symbols instead of words. For example, magnesium like Mg and oxygen is O2. It will produces MgO, that is magnesium oxide. So here we need to use the symbols, not the words, right? Now let's talk about balanced equation. So what is balanced equation? The same number of atoms of each element in the left hand side and the right hand side. So if the same number of atoms were present in the left and right, that will be called as a balanced equation, right? For example, we can take this one as an example. This is magnesium, which is 1 in the left hand side, and oxygen, there are 2 atoms. So we need to count the atoms, not the molecule here. So magnesium, but let's check on the right side. There is only 1 magnesium and 1 oxygen. So magnesium number is same, but the oxygen number is not same. So we have to put number 2 on the right hand side. Then oxygen number will be balanced, but magnesium number will be increased by 1. So in order to balance that, we need to put 2 in front of magnesium as well, then it will be balanced, right? So this is how a balanced equation will be represented. Now the next one is like this one. This is iron, this is H2O, this is Fe3O4, and this is H2. So in order to balance, what we need to put 3 in front of iron to balance it, right? Because there are 3 iron is present on the right side. Hydrogen number is same. Oxygen number, if we see, it is 4 on the right hand side, right? So in order to balance that, we have to put some kind of number here, right? So informative equations are what kind of equation? Let's talk about that. Informative equations is a representation of physical state using these symbols. For example, if it is a solid, it will be represented by small s. If it is a liquid, it is represented by L. If it is a gas, it is represented by G, or arrow mark. It is towards the upward arrow mark. Water soluble solution, we have to put a symbol AQ. That is aqueous, right? Precipitate, we need to put arrow downward. Reaction conditions such as temperature, pressure, catalyst, it will be indicated above the arrow, right? Heat will be represented by delta sign, triangle sign. So hope you understood up to this points. We will discuss the types of reaction in the next video. Thank you.